Hey everyone, Persona here. Today I want to talk about 1984, the graphic novel by George Orwell and Vito Nasty. In case if anybody is wondering, this is the book. I realized that speaking about 1984 in the internet, I can get a bit cringe because of some people who are quick to bark OrWLien, like a dog hearing a dog whistle, or like a religious person who speaks of different signs of end time each year. And because it's been overused in media for a clickbait title, it has become an internet buzzword that has lost all meaning. But George Orwell is a really good writer, and 1984 is one of the best dystopian novels. It's not my favorite personally. My favorite is still Brave New World, but it is up there at top 3. The book itself tells the story of Winston Smith. He's a 39-year-old who lives in the totalitarian state of Oceania, which is led by a figure called Big Brother. This also popularized the Big Brother is watching you, which is quite an old meme right now. The state is supported by the cult built by the party top police, which has also become a meaningless buzzword because of how easily and often people say it. Winston worked for the Ministry of Truth, which is a surveillance and censor department which persecute individuality and independent thinking, especially action and talks that are not on the we versus them spectrum. Thus the 3 slogans of the Ministry of Truth. 1. War is peace. 2. Freedom is slavery. And 3. Ignorance is strength. On the surface though, the Ministry of Truth is for news, entertainment, education and fine arts. Then beside the Ministry of Truth, there are 3 other entities in Oceania. The Ministry of Peace, which is ironically for war. The Ministry of Love, which maintain law and order. Then the Ministry of Plenty, responsible for the economy, or in Newspeak, Mini True, Mini Pax, Mini Love, and Mini Plenty. And Newspeak or Newspeak itself is the new way of speaking in the Oceania, where some words are shortened and a lot of words are banned or changed, even those that cause no harm to others. As a 39 years old himself, Winston still kinda remembered the before time, so he tried to hide away from the surveillance, and he also wrote a diary, which is a big no-no because that's individual thinking. Then during the scheduled 2-minute Hate program one day, which is a propaganda program where they try to push the blame to their enemy, the Brotherhood, and their leader Goldstein, even though they've been long missing. Big Brother and Goldstein themselves are most likely a depiction of Stalin and Trotsky of that time, and during this 2-minute Hate program, Winston found a girl and a guy called OrWLien, and this resulted in the story progressing the way it is. Just from this one book alone, there are a lot of terms which have since become part of pop culture, like talk police and newspeak that I mentioned above, then talk crime, 2 + 2 = 5, double think, or what is now known more as double standard, and there are a lot more of that. The story of 1984 is so compelling because George Orwell, a democratic socialist himself, wrote the book based on a lot of his observation with Stalin's Soviet and Nazi Germany. It is a book written against totalitarianism, mass surveillance, and anti-freedom that tries to take people's autonomy away from them. As early as the beginning of the 20th century, human equality has become technically possible with the development of machine production, even if it was still necessary for human beings to do different kind of work. It was no longer necessary for them to live at different social or economic level. Therefore, from the point of view of the new group who were on the point of seizing power, human equality was no longer an ideal to be striven after, but a danger to be avoided. I think the reason why the people I mentioned in the beginning is really cringe is because they're the reply guy. You know, the kind of person where if you saw a comment in YouTube, for example, that have more than 100 replies on them, you see there's always some people who always reply to every single comment directed at him, and the more they reply, in the case of OrWLien, the more obvious it becomes that they most likely didn't understand George Orwell, or they might even haven't read 1984, which is ironic because in 1984, crime stop means mentioned as this. Crime stop means the faculty of stopping short, as told by instinct, at the threshold of any dangerous stop. It includes the power of not grasping analogies or failing to perceive logical error, or misunderstanding the simplest argument if they are inimical to insult, and of being bored or repelled by any train of thought which is capable of leading in a heretical direction. Crime shop, in short, means protective stupidity. I think what people need to remember is that 1984 story does come from exaggeration of reality, and while some parts of the world can slightly resemble it, some part of the world also resemble The Simpsons. Maybe be aware, but don't be too scared of it, that you're trying to look at science in the sky like asteroids on obliques. If anything, if you've read the book, instead of using it as something to judge the world, catch yourself if you've done what the party has done in the book. Did you have any double standard? Have you ignored the logical error in your judgments? Have you actually read the book before using the popular term it generated? Because you should. Read the book, I mean. It is a really good novel, and I think this adaptation, despite being more of a novel than a comic, carries the story really well with its added pictures. I highly recommend it. That's about it.